be choppy, everyone, just in
This
case.
meeting is being recorded.
Big welcome, big good afternoon, wherever you are around the country, around the world. My name is Peter No. You are in the know with Peter No this afternoon, as we have started this a little bit over 2 months ago, 8 weeks ago. And it's so exciting to just see everybody here, as you can pick my brain and pick Donna's brain. So everyone, meet my beautiful co-host, Ms. Donna Reiner. How are you doing this afternoon?
I am well. Texas is getting hot again, and I'm very thankful.
Texas is getting hot. It is raining cats and dogs in Southern California today. It's been raining for the last week. I don't think I've ever seen rain for a whole week in California. So if everybody lives here, you know what's going on. But I'm so excited to start off the new year. I hope everybody enjoyed the last couple of weeks. It's been a long 2 weeks, huh, Donna?
Yes, it has actually. I'm glad to get going again. This is good.
So this is good. And as we ended our last, podcast, I believe, with the cash flow. In the last 8 weeks, what I've done is really just opened up, okay? We're opening up this community to just get a little bit more help, meaning that little bit more mindset training, little bit more understanding about the industry, little bit more understanding about where you are in your business. So Donna and I have taken our time to create these little series as we are learning how to leverage each other, learning how to build each other, and learning how to duplicate each other. So everyone, big welcome to the build, the BLD. And today, as we're starting off our 2023, can everybody believe it is 2023 now?
Wow.
Okay, good. Now, we're gonna go today. I kind of want to get more intimate, meaning that I'm going to grab a few callers. I want to kind of get into the mindset of starting off your direct sales or your network marketing career. Okay, is that a little scary subject? No. Okay, good, because we have some professionals on here, but we also have a lot of brand new people on here. So since we're starting off the year brand new, does everybody understand that this whole world is changing right now?
Yes.
Okay, it's changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The economy is changing. Our world is changing. Our government is changing. The people are changing. Business is changing. Does everybody believe it's changing for better or for worse?
As long as we're better.
As long as we're better.
That's right.
So Donna is so positive, as long as we're better. Now, Donna, what will guarantee or what will make our world better?
I think that for me personally, if I can have a vision for my own personal life, if I can have a vision for my health, for my finances, for what I'm going to do in response instead of reacting to the world and to the governments of this world, I think that I can be a leader in my family, in my community, and in any team I'm part of. But if I'm just showing up just to show up and to just do whatever, if I don't have some kind of strength and not a platform as in a public platform, but a platform in my heart, that my core is strong and I'm staying strong in the midst. I just did a video recently about how we're not supposed to be a twig or a limb that's just blowing. We're not supposed to be a weed that blows. We're supposed to be a tree that gets planted so that the wind doesn't blow us down, but it blows through us so that we keep standing, because we are shade for other people. And I don't mean just a spiritual connotation. I just mean as friends, as family, as people that are rocking out life together. If we are not staying strong and being transparent. If we're weak, do we have someone we can turn to help strengthen us in our journey, and all those kind of things. We won't make it in this business because we won't make it in our life, right? I mean, we can be rocking out business, but if your health is deteriorating, if your life is going down the tubes privately, then it won't matter that you are making it in your business, because the real you is just falling apart. So that's just my input as we move forward. You said we're going deep, so I went deep.
You're going deep, which is good. Now, I think a lot of people need to hear this today. Again, we're starting off the new year, so I really want to go deep today to make sure what are we learning today that can set you up for just this year, okay? And Donna, what I'm hearing from you, how you said it, is we really need to learn how to build ourselves.
Yes.
Meaning that we need, whatever you don't know, you don't know. How many people believe you don't know everything?
I know.
Good.
I don't.
But you don't know everything. We don't know everything. But now, how awesome is it, or how grateful is it if you belong to a community where we can all share knowledge?
Yes.
Now, after you graduated from college, when you went to work in your industry, in your career path, how much more can you learn if you're stuck in one way for a very long time? Not
What
much.
do you mean? Okay. Yeah. I see
For
what you're saying.
example,
You're just stuck like this.
For example, when I went to go to hair school, the only thing I learned is cutting hair. When I meet accountants, what do they know? The only thing they really know is accounting sometimes. If you go to even doctors, the only thing is medical. Does that make sense? If you're stuck in your lane, how can you learn more? Why is that so important today? More than ever, more than ever. Because we're living in the information age. And if you're living in an information age, whatever you learn that you can apply, that will bring value. And you have to learn now how to sell or create or share value more than ever today. Does that make sense, everyone?
That's really good.
Yeah, value, okay? Now, this economy is not going to look good for this year. Does everybody believe that and understand why, right? Things are happening. Now, do you believe you can grow or build your own economy? Yes. Yes. Now, why do I say yes? Because if you are part of a network marketing concept, if you're part of a network marketing community, and if that community is very close or understands systems and understand how to leverage each other, how to build each other, how to duplicate each other. And that's why I always say, bring on people that are like you or better than you. Because if you're better than each other, that means you can learn from each other, correct? Now, for example, if I help Carol McDonald and everybody, does everybody know who Carol is? If you don't, look at her. She's right here in the middle on my screen right here, right? Carol. Now, she's my idol. Why is she my idol? Because she's 79 years old. Because she has opened up the door for everyone to show what you have to do to succeed in this business. Now, do you think Carol McDonald, who's 79 years old, do you think she has all the time, the energy to go do hotel meetings, to go to restaurant meetings, to drive around town, to do everything that she used to do when she was 49 or 39? No. She had to adapt. She had to learn the new way of how to do business in the 21st century. Does that make sense, everyone? Now,
Yes.
because of her experience in life, because of who she was, and that because she's been in network marketing for many decades, she has learned that at the end of the day, it's about people. But today, 3 years ago, during the lockdown, could we see people? No.
No.
People were actually afraid to talk to people during that time. But who was she not afraid to call? Who was she not afraid to talk to? People that she had relationships with. Does that make sense, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
In the darkest times, in your closest times, and we're going deep today, okay? I'm going to make everybody figure out their aha moment. In the closest times during the lockdown, when none of us could call each other if we didn't know each other, you cannot call a cold market and go, can you help me out, right? Or you could not call your neighbor if you didn't know your neighbor, la da 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 da. Why? Because that time was so much fear. Does everybody remember that time? It was during
Yes.
February, March, and April and May of 2020. It was the most fierce time when people were actually afraid to talk to people. But who did we call on? Who did we reach out to? Remember
People
that?
we already knew.
We reached out to each other, right, Carol? Juliana reached out. Sabi reached out. Sally reached out. Get it? Nini reached out. Eric, all my friends reached out. What is the moral of the story on that? Donna, what is the moral of the story on this?
If you don't have community, you will really, now this is my perspective, if you don't have community, you will really become close friends with isolation, and it will be very difficult for you to connect with others later. I want to touch base while we're in this context with people that have just now come in that weren't a part of your community 3 years ago. And people have come in the last few months or even the last week, and they're here and they don't have community yet. And they don't have people they're leaning into yet. And they may feel like they're on the outside, even looking into us. And I've only been in the community for 1.5 years. So I just want to encourage all of you to break friendship with isolation and not be afraid to unfriend that dark place that you were in a few years ago in your family, in your friendships, or with yourself, and to be open to gaining a new friend, even if it's starting right here with a new friend online that you don't even see face to face yet, but just see on a Zoom. And eventually that is going to open up your frequency to having relationships within all these different places. And then eventually someone may come to a city near you, and you'll get to see face to face some of the people here so that you too can have community in this Lifeway family. Peter.
And I like that you touched on that, Donna, because now I want to talk about network marketing. Network marketing isn't what you think it is. Network marketing is a network. You have to build a network. You have to work at building relationships. The reason why we all survived each other during the darkest times is because we had a group of us that already had relationships because we were in previous companies together for a while. When we came here, we trusted each other to go through this process together. And then we expanded that trust by building it internally through using these tools, which is the Zooms and our relationships. Does that make sense, everyone? So
Yes.
the reason why I'm starting with this conversation today is because some of you might think, I don't know anyone. Some of you might think, where do I start? Some of you might think, I've been locked in my home for all this time. I don't know who to talk to. This conversation is for you. This is to get you started. you're going to have to light up your own fire and learn how to make new friends again.
I'm clapping that. That's good.
If you don't understand what that means, we're going to have another conversation. You're going to have to learn how to become a friend. And sometimes people go, Peter, this business is hard. Then I only have to ask them, hello, is it hard for you to make a friend? If it is, then maybe you need to learn how to become a better friend.
That's good.
Maybe you need to learn now how to become more open into you. Peter, people are not saying yes to me. I don't know what it is. I share them all the tools. I do everything. Really? Are you really connecting with people? Are you really listening to their problems? Are you really opening up your heart or understanding to people? Now, remember the last couple of episodes I said, be selfish. When I said be selfish, meaning that in the business, take care of yourself first, right? Meaning your own skills, your own things that you need to do. You can't give everybody your last gas money or your last food. Does that make sense? That is what I meant by being selfish. But when I say learn how to make new friends, that means you're ready. You're already strong enough. You can go now. You gotta go make new friends now if you want to learn how to build this business, because this business is based on relationships. Now, can you define relationships? Yes. That's why when I say define relationships, I want to know, what kind of relationships do you want? Are you going to make friends with the people that are not like you, meaning that they don't have the outlook like you? They don't have the energy like you? They don't have the behavior like you? Does that make sense? Or do they? If they do have all those qualities like you, then that's someone that I want to make a friend with. But if they don't have those same qualities as you, then why are you forcing to make that friend?
Can I segue one little thing?
Yes.
What came to my mind when you were speaking is, while he's talking and he is making these deep connections, I encourage all of you to ask yourself if you're afraid of losing a friend or losing a sale. And if you could switch your intention from being unafraid to gain a friend and being unafraid to have a sale. Because there was so much shutdown in the last few years, I still meet people now that still live in isolation. They still live there. And I tell you, it took everything I could to come out of mine, because I already had health issues, because there was genuine fear there. So I just encourage us all to be meditating and listening in our hearts. And maybe there's something that you can break friendship with that is unhealthy in you while he's talking. And it doesn't have to be a big ceremony. It can be a simple, oh, I see that. I changed my mind about that. And then just keep listening and move forward with Peter, because he and Marcy have led the way to be successful. And they have shared where they have not been successful. They have shared where they've had knocks in the road. They've had betrayal. They have all sorts of things happen in their lives. They didn't just go, boom, everything's awesome. Even after they were successful here, they still had bumps in the road. So we have great leaders we can follow through their pathway, over the river and through the woods to our own success. And I'm so excited about that for this year. It's a new time for us to learn a new way for ourselves individually.
Yes. And there's a lot of light workers here. There's a lot of people here that already have worked with the energy, right? But there's still a lot of blockage in some ways too. I had to go through this in the last couple of years. Now, I want to ask this question. This is a deep question. What do you define as a leader? What is a leader to you? I'll open it up. Suzanne, what is a leader to you?
A leader is one that is not afraid to do what needs to be done. If a leader will do what they expect the people under them to do, that's what makes a leader.
That's a really good definition of a leader. Someone who is willing to go do things that has not been done, meaning a leader is someone who would take a risk, right? And risk it for their teams or show the way. Really good. Don Garcia, what's your definition of a leader?
My leader is not afraid. What I see a leader, they're not afraid to roll up their sleeves and help out their partner to make phone calls with them, be there by them side to do what helps them become successful.
So a leader is someone that will support you all the way with whatever you work or whatever you need to get done also. So someone who's leading you. Okay, let me do this. Jenny Friedman, what is your definition of a leader?
Somebody who teaches.
Somebody who teaches what they know, right? Okay, so everybody, you heard definitions of leaders. Through all the years, these are all good definitions of leaders. Someone who's taken a risk, someone who works with you, and someone who teaches you. Now, what if you call that person a leader, but they're teaching you the wrong thing, Jenny? Would they be a leader?
No.
Yeah, they're still a leader. They're just leading in a wrong direction to duplicate.
Exactly.
Not my kind of leader.
Don, what if that person is you define as a leader and they go to work with you, but what if they're working the wrong way and not utilizing the right tools and you both work too much until your wheels fall off?
That's why I'm here to learn from the best.
Exactly.
Oh, listen to you.
Now, Suzanne, now you have someone who's willing to take a risk, go to work with you too. But what if they're putting your life in danger because they don't know what they don't know, but they thought it was the right thing to do and they're leading you the right way, but they're taking a risk that should not be taken?
They're only human. They're not perfect. Okay.
Perfect.
And it's kind of up to me to make sure I'm going the right direction. If I don't like where they're going, I can find somebody else that will lead me the right way.
So now you're talking about trust now. You have to make sure that you're trusting this person, right? To make sure you're following them.
And so far, everybody I have seen, I trust. Okay.
Yes.
I don't trust you. You know, how do I want to say? I've learned if somebody says they're going to do something and they don't do it, well, okay, I'm going to watch them very carefully to see if that's a pattern, you know, and once the pattern is established, then I'm going to go looking elsewhere.
Now, when you go through the trust first and then you watch them and then you learn patterns, then you're going to go into the knowing. So let me share this. This is what I learned. You can trust people. Trusting, though, you can trust on false information.
Yeah.
You can trust someone, but you can only trust them until you know who they are. Right, Suzanne?
Right.
Now, you can follow them until what if they make a wrong mistake or you thought they were this person, but they're not. So that means you lose the trust. That means you know that they are not that person.
Well, first off, I'm going to talk to them and find out what's going on. I'm not going to leave them. You know, I'm going to have a conversation because I may have something that I'm blind on and they may have something. And between the two of us, maybe we can make things work.
Yes. Now, the reason why I'm going into this topic is because my definition of a leader is someone who helps people feel safe. Safe, meaning that a leader is someone, like Suzanne said, that took risk already, broke through the risk, and now because he knows if that's a good risk or not, he's not going to do that wrong risk, but he's going to do the right risk. So he's going to make his people feel safe in the right direction. Same thing with Don. If that leader has been in the trenches, if that leader's gone that way already, and he knows that is a safe place to get the safe outcome, then he's going to take Don with him to make sure that they're both working their butts off because it's the right direction, because it's safe. Same thing with Jenny, right? I forgot what it was, but it has to do with safety, right? Trust, safety. Now, Again, the reason why I'm saying this is because as you're going through your network marketing career in the beginning stages, we're dealing with W-2 employee mindset. Remember that, right? You came out of college, 80% went to work, 20% are entrepreneurs. Now the 80% are slowly learning to trickle into this 1099 world. And because of that, I want to make sure you understand the difference between trust and knowing and safe, because you're going to deal with so many people that are coming into your life for the first time. Do you know right after your job, you don't meet a lot of new friends? So now you're going into this industry and they're like, go make new friends. How do you know who's who? Does that make sense, everyone? We don't know, because I made so many new friends in the beginning stages of my career. That's why I made so many mistakes, Suzanne. That's why I took so many risks. I did not know what risk to take because I didn't have a mentor. So I just took every risk possible, which cost me a lot of time, energy, and money. Because I went through the wrong way of the risk, that's why people follow me, because when they listen to my story, they're like, I don't want to do what this guy did, went this way. So I'm going to go this way, because thank you, Peter, for telling me, because now I don't have to go through that experience. Does that make sense, everyone? So that's why when you see an organization like this, and I only use this organization because Marcy and I, we've worked together 12 years ago. We've been in companies together already. We've taken a lot of risk. We worked our butts off. We try to keep people safe because we do good business, meaning that we don't do bad behaviors. Now, do we learn through our process? Yes, we do. Do we still get BS out there, by trusting people? Of course we do. It's just part of life. But just like what Suzanne said, you listen, you watch, you learn behaviors, you see if it's right or wrong. And at the end of the day, you can't fake the funk, right? People are people. Now, what makes a great leader compared to a leader, a new leader? Nothing. The only thing is, a bigger leader is someone that has just been in the industry or been in this direction long enough. And because he's done so much right things, that a lot of people are following him. Does that make sense, everybody? That's when I look at a real leader. And why is that so important today in this conversation? As you're starting your 2023 off, as you're starting your new career, as you're starting your new life, or you're going into the phases of life wave, okay? Who do you want to be for your team? Who do you want to represent for your team? And who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to follow? And if you are, I highly advise this year, just pick 1, 2, 3 mentors. You don't need 10, you don't need 20. Just pick 1, 2, 3 of your favorite people. And then pick 1, 2, 3 of your favorite books this year. 3 people and 3 books, just like the 3-3-3, same thing with here. And I want you to just take your time and absorb how they live, what they're teaching. What do you want to get out of those books? Okay, does that make sense, everyone? This year, I really want to focus on my first, second, and third generations. I really want to develop the people that I brought in. And if they tell me, Peter, this is not for me, great, thank you very much. That means I saved a lot of time for both of us. So then I can take my time and give it to Don, give it to Carol, give it to Asuku. Does that make sense? The time, network marketing is a constant evolvement of a test for you to see how much you've learned and how you're willing to let go and apply and keep on doing that, rinse and repeat over until you find really 2 people that are totally like you, on the same path, same mindset, same commitment, same gym time, same wants, same vision, same hunger. Does that make sense, everyone? Fortunately, I've developed enough relationships long ago that they see how hungry I am. They see how it. For example, Brenda. I've known Brenda for so many years in my old company already, right? Carol, I've known her for so many years in my old company already. These are all my workout buddies. Now, did we split up and people went different directions in life? Yes, they did. They did. But all of a sudden, are we still friends? Of course we are. Are we becoming better friends now? Yes, we are, because we're becoming better people. When I say better people, now we learn different skill sets. Now we can teach different things to each other that can bring value. So the more valuable you are, the more people feel safe with you. The more people feel safe with you, the more they're willing to work with you and introduce you to their friends, their family, their network. Does that make sense? If you're trying to work with someone who doesn't have all this, then, or if you don't feel safe, how can they introduce you to their friends knowing that they're not going to feel safe? So at the end of the day, are you hanging out with people? Are you doing business with people that are safe people? And do they let your network feel safe? Now that leads into the podcast now. Why do we tell people, come look at the podcast first before we even talk? Or come look at the podcast first before I introduce you to my partners. Come look at the podcast first if you have any information. Because the podcast is showing to that one person how different and what kind of a community we have, where 200 to 300 people that trust each other get on a phone call every day to absorb information. Does that make sense for everyone? That right there sometimes is not talked about at all in the industry, because I've never seen a team or industry that has 200-300 people every day now talking about certain things, certain technologies, and leaving out the major things, which is the ego, the posturing, and the convincing, which is talking about money, MLM, and other behaviors. Does that make sense? We specifically left that out. So as we're going through this week, this training today, we're talking about leadership, we're talking about being safe, we're talking about making new friends, and we're talking about how these tools, the podcast, is your total pre-qualifier now. So if you're going to focus on these 4 or 5 little things now, I want you to take this January, take your month, okay? Again, reflect and assess yourself. When you make a list, when you physically make a list in your book, right? And you write down these names, do you really know who these people are? Do you really know what they really want? Do you really have a great conversation with them? Do you really go deeper? Or are you just really asking, what do you know about stem cells? Yes, that's great. But why do we want to know about stem cells? Who are you to me to help you? And if you can really go deeper in that, it kind of might have, maybe some magic will open where you like, now that is your aha moment. I'm like, oh, is this what a partner looks like? Is this what a gym partner looks like? Is this what somebody looks like where I don't have to chase them or don't call them because they're calling me? Because I'm bringing value to them, or because I'm hanging out with valuable people that can teach them something that they don't know, because I'm in the network marketing. Remember, we're networking. We throw out the net, we're working to build our relationships. Now, what makes one networker different than the other? Again, I've been in network marketing for 20 years. That means I have invested a lot of my time, energy, and effort into getting to learn people. So when someone like Dawn comes up to me and she asks me a question, hey, how do I talk to this person? It's because I already learned how to talk to that type of person many years ago. So if I can share that information to Dawn and she applies that information to someone else, and it helped that person to join, and she didn't have to spend years to learn that skills because I already gave it to her. Does that make sense, everyone? That is called being in a good network. Now, what is being in a wrong network looks like? Carol, you want to answer that one? You can unmute yourself.
Yes, you never hear from your leaders. You don't have any direction. You're out there doing anything you think might work. You don't know when you're going in the wrong direction. You're talking to the wrong people. You just don't have a roadmap to success. And that's what's so different here. And we have Peter telling us what I like best, but I like so many things you tell us, but I like you when you say, don't bring a pain in the neck into your business, because they'll still be a pain in the neck, but you'll have to answer their calls if you support them. So that was a great tip, because you save a lot of time not bringing difficult people in who really will never meld into the group because they just are not that kind of person.
Yes. And
had-
Carol, go ahead.
I had one that I just took his information off. I met him hiking and he looked so good, talked so good. And then it came down to, he didn't give me one piece of information. Then I figured out he's in a hospital under doctor's orders and getting paid to put people on these ventilators, which kill. And he knows it. And it's like, goodbye, Charlie. I don't want you.
And that is discernment, Suzanne, that you used, right? And you know, if that person is, you're not on the same page, then that's not the right energy for you. So you literally just saved a lot of time and energy, and you help your friends, your business partners feel safe because you didn't need to bring on something that's not, right? Same
Yeah.
thing what Carol said. All these things. Now, as leaders, what does it feel like being safe? Let me show you some of the things that people don't talk about, okay? For example, doing things that they won't do. Does that make sense? I will not do anything. I will not teach anything that I personally don't do.
There we go.
Okay, that is number one. Number two, doing behaviors, meaning that, you know, in this industry, you know, people just move ranks, buy points, do stupid stuff, right? That is not organic. I don't like that stuff. Okay, I like stuff here that is organic, meaning that you're just gonna have to learn and earn your way and go through that process. Okay, I don't care if it's slow. I don't like speed. Speed is something that is only earned, meaning that you can only go as fast as how strong and big you are. If you're brand new here, and remember, 80% of our members are brand new. That's why I don't like to talk about money. That's why I don't like to talk about things that rushes people. I like to go organic. So a good leader really just kind of holds people's hands in their space wherever they are. Does that make sense? Help people feel safe. Now, doing things that like, you know, we can go on and on. I don't want to get into the weeds of it, but again, you know, and you can see and you can trust the process. But today, I want you to know what to look for in yourself. I want you to know what to look for in leadership. I want you to know what to look for in organizations. And every day, every week, every month, as you see the system evolve, this is what leadership looks like. This is what systems looks like, everyone. Okay, this is what a proper gym looks like. And I'm kind of putting the fork down today because it's the first week of the year, and because once we see each other at the convention, so we don't know when the convention is. Convention could be in September, October, okay? We don't know what state it is, but whoever's been to the convention last year and the year before, wait till you see what happens this year. And this starts now. I want you to know, kind of evaluate, where are you now today? Where are you in your life? Where are you in your business? where do you want to go in the next 9 months? So I'm going to break down 3 months, 3 months, 3 months for you. Okay, the next 3 quarters, we will break this thing down 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 30 days at a time. Okay, now we're going to start over here. I'm going to take the next couple of weeks and really go into the weeds with you to break down all the blockage. Right, Donna? We got to break down all the blockage so you start the year off right. Okay, and then we're going to take each quarter to grow you and assess you. I want to watch you develop yourself, and I want you to develop finding now 1 or 2 partners this year. I'm just saying, I'm keeping it that simple for you. Learn to define, learn to duplicate your partners. I want you to have a triangle. You, your left, and your right buddy. Okay? Once you find that, they're going to find their triangles. If you consistently do that week by week by week by week by week for the next 9 months, 9 times 4 is 36 weeks. Once you define that, I want you to practice getting your friends, your partners to the convention. What I'm going to do this year personally is all my new partners that I'm personally bringing on, I'm going to buy their convention ticket. I'm physically going to ask them, would you like to be my partner and see the bigger vision of this company? How many people wish they had more people at last year's convention? Do you think it would have made a difference if you had double, triple, or quadruple more of your personal enrollments that were there to physically see David Schmidt, physically see the company and everything that is involved with the company? Would you be in a different position today if you brought more people that last August? Yeah, Jill knows, right? It makes that much of a difference. So this year, because we're going into our 4th year, this is Marcy and I's 4th year now. This is our senior year. I am so excited to see, because we have a goal. Marcy and I and our SPDs, we have a goal to bring 50 SPDs, 50 SPDs this year. We're already pops at about maybe 20, I believe. Okay, 20 already. So we have another 30 more to go. But we have over 50 executive directors, presidential directors, and senior presidential directors already from Marcy and myself down. So do we have a right goal? Could that be a safe goal to ask for? Yes, because now I'm starting this run right here, and you're going to watch me grow in the next 90 days, which will you be growing in the next 90 days? Does that make sense? So we're all going to watch each other grow now, week by week, month by month, all the way till convention. Okay, so this is going to be a big push. But as we grow through this, Donna, I'm excited to meet your 2 leaders. And then who are they? And then who are their 2 leaders? And who are their 2 leaders? Now, if everybody can do this from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generation, I want you to visualize this. By convention, what if you have your 2 leaders, they have their 2 leaders, and they have their 2 leaders? What if by convention you already built out your 3 generations of your business in the next 9 months? How different would your life be? How safe would your life be? Did I throw out some big numbers? You got to go find 1,000 people. You got to go find 100 people. No. Again, if I do that, that means I'm not letting you feel safe. If I throw out numbers like this, that is not good, right? Now, I'm just saying 2. If you can't do 2, you got to do 1. If you can't do 1, we're going to need some major coaching. And that's what we're here for, okay? But at the end of the day, Suzanne, what generation am I to you? Okay. Good question, Suzanne. Who enrolled you? You can unmute yourself and I'll tell you.
Heather Neal.
Who enrolled Heather?
I don't know. Oh,
Okay,
yes,
so-
I do, but I don't know the name.
Okay, then who, I don't know Heather. I don't think I remind me of Heather. So I don't know what generations you are.
PhD in a biochemist program.
Oh, which one?
She has a PhD in a biochemist program.
Oh, okay. No, I don't, her name does not recall, so I don't know. But I can look you up under my tree. And you possibly can be in Marcy's tree. Are you on Marcy's tree?
You know, I don't know. I just work with you guys and Dan.
Maybe, so now I'm gonna see this. So Marcy's right here. I am Marcy's left leg. And then Marcy has Mariah Thomas Wolf on the right leg. Okay, so if you're on the right leg of Marcy, I am your cousin. If you're on my leg, you're my children.
Okay.
So that's how we define each other. We're all family, your cousins and children. Carol is my daughter. Just kidding.
So in other words,
Jill is my daughter. Okay, Shari is my daughter. Just kidding. But you know
in
what I
other
mean.
words, to be your generation, I gotta be your child. Is that it?
No, so if you're in the generations, all that means is if I enrolled Juliana Coles is my first generation. Juliana enrolled, who did Juliana enroll? Jill, right? No, Carol. So Carol is my second generation and Carol enrolled Jill. Jill is my third generation. So because of the compensation plan, we earn off of our first, second, and third generation. So then let's say if you're my fourth, fifth, I have 20, 30 generations already, okay? So that is, we don't earn, but we still benefit from each other a lot through volume. Okay,
Can you mute people?
No problem, there we go. So now we only have 12 minutes left. Did everybody learn something today? Okay, are we gonna take this on for this year, for 2023? We're gonna deprogram, we're gonna let go the 2022 Microsoft software or the Apple iOS, whatever it is, and we're gonna download 2023. The 2023 software is what? Simplicity, okay? Threes, just focus on threes. 3 mentors, 3 books, partners, talk to 3 people a day to find your 2 workout buddies that will be your bodybuilders. Focus on that. Don't focus on, I need to pay my bill. I need to find my leader. You don't focus on that. Develop yourself, focus on yourself, and then when you purge things out of you, you're opening up the door for new things to come. You hear it all the time, but it's so true, okay? If you don't feel something is in need of you, let it go so you can bring the new one, okay? Like Charlene, I had the pleasure of meeting her last year. She's grown so much, she's learned so much, and she's in the energy world. And there's so much stuff going on, but she's still growing through this stuff, right? We're all in the same trenches all the time. But this year, I want to watch. I'm physically watching everybody grow, okay? Now, since we have 10 minutes left, let's open up for any questions, anything you have. Raise your hand or unmute yourself, whatever you like.
I just got to tell you, Peter, how excited I am. This is Charlene. And I want you and Donna to know, this just falls right in line with what my team and I have been talking about, attuning our energies, because we all have to do it internally ourselves, like Donna was saying, so that we can attune to the outcomes we want and our soul's calling to this as we ascend into our upper consciousness. And I feel that LifeWave is an ascension tool. These patterns are helping in this process. And I just want to say thank you both, and thank you everyone that's here, because collectively, I've been lifted just by being in the presence of all of you. And Peter, it's just always a pleasure. And now Donna, and I'm just thrilled for my team and what we're all going to get from this. So, wahoo!
Amen.
Wahoo! Thank you,
Wahoo!
Charlene. You're a blessing to work with, and you know, you have so much energy and such a beautiful community, and that line is a really special line too. So get ready. We're gonna light up the world.
Mhm.
Suzanne, you have something to add?
Donna, I have a question for you. I heard you a long time ago on a call, and it mystifies me. You don't give your business card to people because they do what? I'm not sure what that was about.
Well, I have found personally, first of all, I've never had anyone enroll through a business card or use a business card. We're really, because we're in a whole new age, and it's so simple to get someone's phone number right that moment, a business card to me is an additional step that's not needed. So my whole desire is when I meet someone, whether they be at the Taco Bell, God forbid me being in one of those, or at a nice restaurant where there's good food or what have you, my whole goal is to first discern, and secondly, take that person who is my cold market and quickly move them into a warm market so they're comfortable being in my phone and me reaching back to them and them reaching back to me. But to hand someone a business card, which means they could throw that away without me having their information in my phone, means I just threw away a sale, because it's so simple for them with absolutely no accountability and no obligation to me, because they don't know me, because they are not in my warm market and they have no reason to have to remember me. To me, that's a throwaway. So I would rather just make a real contact or show up the next day or show up the next week and have just continue to connect until they're comfortable enough to have me in their phone, as I start to feed them the beauty of this technology and how valuable it is for them, so that they want to purchase it from me and would say no to someone else who came along that may not serve them the way I will.
Okay, there was something about if I give them my business card, I know they can go elsewhere or something like that. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, what I just said, they're easy to go online and just find everything that it is, and then just purchase from anyone.
Okay.
Or they go online and they find out what it costs. And unfortunately, many times, and I get this when people do go to my website, they look for me and they go to my website and they say, you know what, I just can't afford that. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And they say, well, I can't afford $2.99 a month. And then I have to spend 10 minutes giving clarity to them that that's not how much it costs. And then all of a sudden, that whole sale has switched from me showing them how valuable it is to them telling me how much it costs. And I'm the one who wants to lead them into value. I don't lead with price. I lead with value.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you, dear, very much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And we'll talk. We've talked about it, and we can talk about it next week on listening to the problem. Remember, we have to understand what their problem is to be the solution for them. That is the only way you're going to have a value. And the problem is everyone has three problems: health, time, freedom.
Yes.
HTF. Like we'll practice, we'll role play that next week deeper, okay? To really how to break that listening, to understand the problem, and then how to inject the solution without selling.
Amen. That's
okay,
good.
Does everybody want to learn that next week? We're going to learn that next week in depth with role play, okay? We're going to dig deeper on connecting, listening to the problem, and how to inject, how to introduce them to the technology without selling. And the definition of sales is effective communication. The only thing when you hear the word sales, you don't want to be a salesman, a car salesman. But when we are in sales, meaning we're constantly effectively communicating each other. It's either I inspire you and impact you, or you inspire me and impact me. Somebody has to sell each other, meaning who's better at effectively communicating that, correct? So it's, man, I don't even know where the time goes. We have time for maybe one or two more questions. Does anybody have any? Unmute yourself.
I have a thought before we close too.
Okay.
I'll wait for the question though.
No questions? Nobody?
Hello, Peter. I have one.
Yes.
You know, with generations, first of all, thank you for the teachings today. It's been awesome. Awesome. Loved it. And I want to say I learned one big lesson, because I'm listening to the audiobook of the of Influence is Your Superpower. And I really just got even more the value of deeply listening to the people that I'm wanting to love, serve, and invite. So I did put it in the chat and Donna responded, but I wanted to acknowledge because it was such a big breakthrough, because an old friend of mine that I had just signed up as a silver called me up, and she was almost like tripping over herself, as she often does, you know, apologizing for, oh, I just sent this person somewhere else. And it was like complaint and mistakes. And, I could have gotten really like, why did you do that? Why didn't you bring them here? But instead I just went deep and I just listened and listened and listened and listened. And then she suddenly went, this is the best conversation we've ever had. Oh my God, I want you to meet my doctor. I'm going to introduce him to you, because anybody who has cancer or this or that can then, you can, so it created this whole new network. So that was a breakthrough. And then my question is, you said, you're working with people that are in your first generations, but if you've signed up people, I mean, my understanding is that, we could go 20 people could be put on us, and then we sign up another person, and then 20 people, and then we sign up another person. So I'm praying that I'm close enough to work deeply and closely with you, because I love your energy and how you teach.
So when I say I'm developing my first, second, third generation, I'm just paying closely attention to who they are, where they are at right now. But
Okay.
if you're my fourth, fifth, 20th, 30th generation, again, we're all workout buddies. You reach out to me. I'm here to help. This is just one part of the many helps I can do, because we're just running a big organization now. So
Yeah.
you just have to learn how to leverage each other's time. Okay. But Deborah, you can always text me,
Okay.
call me.
I'm so
here.
grateful. I'm grateful because I'm
Okay?
building a big list. Yesterday, I was on all of Marcy's things and I sent out patches, and I've got this big list growing now. So I'll be texting you. Thank you. And I'm so grateful for my upline, Andre Clearwater and Victoria and Juliana Coles.
So you can look at Andre
and Donna,
Victoria,
for Donna's love. She's awesome.
Yeah, look at all these ladies. We all learn from each other all this time. And it doesn't stop, everyone. This is a school. Just think of it as like a big college school, and we're just all taking classes together every day, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes here, and apply what you learn, okay? So we got a lot of things to talk about next week. This call is one of my favorites of the week. And if you know anyone in your teams, their teams, if anybody is lost in our organization, bring them to this call so we can kind of gather everyone, okay? I don't want anyone to feel like they don't have any support at all. Between Marcy and I, we're here. So we're gonna adjourn this call. I'm gonna pass it to Donna. She's gonna do her final words. But just know I love each one of you. I'm here this year. We're gonna rock and roll this thing, and we're gonna see each other, and we're gonna throw the biggest party the convention has ever seen, okay, just for this team. So get ready. I'll see you all soon. And Donna, I'm gonna leave it to you to close the call for today.
All right. Thank you. Well, I had a thought earlier and then Peter began to really confirm it. I thought to myself, maybe it's a great month to reevaluate where you are right now in your heart regarding your own health, your own time, your own freedom, and identify if this is the year or the quarter, however you want to roll, whether it's this month you want to concentrate or this quarter you want to concentrate on health as your primary and then time as your secondary and freedom as your third, or vice versa. And then I would ask the people that you're wanting to run with. Let's say you have folks that you've enrolled. I've already had a few people come to my mind, to ask them if they want to be your running buddy, and get with them and ask them very clearly, hey, what is your priority? What are you doing right now? Is your health, time, or freedom where you want your vision to be for this next quarter? Because when you can yoke yourself with one who has something similar to you, or you at least understand where one another is, just understand, it's going to help you know how to help them and their network and their communities, you see. And so get to the heart of your own matter, and then get to the heart of the matter of those that you want to walk with. I hope that that helps. And I just encourage you to do that between now and next week. What is your own priority in your health and your time and your freedom? Because I said it earlier, Peter said this way earlier. He was talking to Dawn, and he said something about not working like a dog or something like that, working hard and not going anywhere. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I thought, you know what? We need to leverage our own health and leverage our own time and leverage our own freedom as we move forward together this year. And then get with people and help them leverage their own health and their own time and their own freedom, so that none of us are exhausted, so that we're not working hard over here, but we're literally not drinking water all day long. Look, I'm the nuts and bolts girl. I'm like the basics. I'm the overview, but I'm also I see all the little limbs, all the little lines in the leaf as well. These little things matter in our personal, private lives. And so I just encourage you to get your priorities straight, because I'm getting my priorities straight, so that we can really run this year with serving. And then if you have uncomfortable situations, if you're in situations where you feel trapped because there's real life going on, and maybe your social media platform is what people see, but that's not what's going on behind the scenes, I encourage you to take a deep breath and remember that if you take care of what's priority, if you take care of what you're called in right now, that this LifeWave business will not be a yoke that's harsh on you. Because when our own personal priorities are together and we're straight in what we're doing with our energy, the other energy just flows to us, because we're not fighting ourselves and we're not fighting where we are and what we're doing in life. I hope that makes sense. If that makes sense, somebody give me a hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Donna.
That's your assignment for the next week.
Wait, I got that down. I wrote it down. I'm going to do everything you said, Donna. And next week, we're going to do some major role play. I see everybody. Enjoy the gym time. Tonight, I will be on with Donna again for our Wednesday. Amy and Beamy are off today. So you're going to see us again in the gym. We're double whammy working. So
Donna.
see you in the gym tonight.
I need to, hey, Peter, don't hang up. Shut down Facebook, and then let's shut down the our beautiful group.
Donna, call me.
I'm not sure who's talking
Shut
to
it
me.
down. Buddy tonight.
And I left you my message on the chat.
I have no idea. I can't even read the chat. Whoever you are, you need to text me at 281-948-5642. Oh, Carrie. Okay, hold on. Girl, I'm fixing to
I'll
leave
send you
here.
Carrie's number.
Yeah, please do. She's probably, I think she's in my phone,
Hey,
but I'll
Peter,
look unless she got a new phone.
just to clarify, you and Donna are doing the 6 p.m. podcast tonight. Okay, I need to go change in Telegram. Okay, thank you.
Well, we don't have a flyer for it, but just put.
I
Beanie
know.
on the-
I'll put something in there. All right.
Okay, bye,
That's
Heidi.
great.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
y'all.
Thanks,
Blessings.
Steve. You're fantastic.